When I get older, I will be stronger. They'll call me freedom, just like a waving flag. When I get older, I will be stronger. They'll call me freedom, just like a waving flag. And then it goes.
Every man, woman, and child on earth is born free and equal in dignity and rights. These rights are universal. But the question remains, what are human rights?
Human rights? Well, that's tough.
Wow.
I don't even know how to give that a definition.
I would probably have to do a little bit of homework or something.
Any right that I think just as a normal, human,
The rights that humans have?
Oh, that's a very large debate.
Tú le puedes preguntar a 20 personas y te van a dar 20 diferentes opiniones.
Non saprei, è una domanda complicatissima.
We just take it for granted that they're there, but we don't even consider what they are.
Human rights are the rights you have simply because you're human. According to United Nations, there are a total of 30 natural rights, which are usually grouped together and called simply human rights. They are all listed out in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which sets the standard to be upheld around the world.
Liberté, égalité et fraternité.
This concept originates from the ideologies of the French Revolution and the Declaration of the Rights of Man and the Citizen, which changed the concept of natural law to natural rights. Everyone is entitled to the rights set forth in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, regardless of age, sex, race, religion, politics, or other status. But what makes this more than just words on paper? What about when those who are supposed to defend our rights abuse them instead? The reality is that human rights are not always universal, and absolute natural rights are still only held by the most privileged citizens of Western European nations, while the minorities fall through the cracks. These rights cannot truly be universal until they are extended to all people. It's up to us, and change can start with a single event.
Effective today, it is illegal to wear a burqa in France or a niqab like this, a Muslim veil that reveals only the eyes. The new law drew protest and confusion on the streets of Paris. Two women stepping out in their niqabs and drawing a crowd were arrested for staging an unauthorized protest. The French government has called the veils, and I quote, a new form of enslavement, end quote, not acceptable on its soil. Many Muslims are enraged, but not all.
Nous ne devons pas nous tromper de combat.
Let's not be mistaken. In the Republic, the Muslim religion should be as respected as other religions. The issue of the burqa is not a religious issue. It is a question of freedom and of women's dignity. The burqa will not be welcomed on the territory of the French Republic.
La burqa ne sera pas le bienvenu.
We cannot accept that in our country, some women be imprisoned behind a fence, cut from all social life, deprived of identity. That is not a principle that the French Republic has about women's dignity.
Even in the birthplace of human rights, Muslim women are being denied their rights because they do not align with the beliefs of the chosen few. We cannot claim to have a universal standard for human rights if we pick and choose whose rights will actually be upheld. The choice we must make is either human rights for all or for no one. If we fail to respect the rights and humanity of others, the world descends into chaos.
Article 2. Everyone is entitled to all the rights and freedoms set forth in this declaration, without distinction of any kind, examined as race, color, sex, language, religion, political or other, national or social origin, property, birth or other status. No distinction shall be made on the basis of the political, jurisdictional or international status of the country or territory to which the person belongs, whether it be independent, trust, non-self-governing or under any other limitation of sovereignty.
A European court has ruled that France's ban on full face veils does not breach religious freedom. That means the so-called burqa ban is legal and will stay. The ruling by the European Court of Human Rights in Strasbourg was in relation to a case brought by a woman described as a devout Muslim who wears the burqa for religious, personal and cultural reasons.
To take it to a government level and to try to legislate the way that a woman dresses is not just wrong and against human rights, but it really violates the whole basis that the democracy and democratic countries are based on.
The government has no justification in declaring certain rights of higher importance than others as it suits them. There can only be equality. France and the United Nations are quick to action regarding foreign human rights crises, such as the devastation in Syria, but then turn on the Muslim people within their own borders. To hold some human rights violations in greater contempt than other rights violations is to discredit the equal worth of all human rights. France is chipping away at its very foundations by violating the people's right to freedom of religion in the Republic. Their actions make the statement that they hold themselves above needing to respect all human rights, even though they condemn foreign nations who act this same way. Universal human rights begin in small places close to home, in the world of each individual person. These are the places where every man, woman, and child seeks equal justice, equal opportunity, and equal dignity without discrimination. Unless these rights have meaning in everyday life, they have little to no meaning at all. Until all human rights are respected equally for all people, they will never be universal.